You want me to do a shout out to them? Shout out to Mike and Manny. These two guys have been invaluable to me through the roofing industry in Florida. They're pillars within the roofing community. Just genuine, kind-hearted. I could never thank these guys enough. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for these guys. If you guys know Mike and Manny, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Season 2, Episode 5. Audio's not good. Até mejor. Season 2, Episode 5, talking about mentors and mentorship today. I get asked, take 3. Season 2, Episode 5, talking about mentorships. Mentors and mentorships today, and I'm excited about this. I get a lot of questions from y'all regarding this. My name is Brad Hogan. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm a business guy here in Central Florida. I am a roofer. I'm just talking through how we get through life and how you're going to risk it all in building a business and what that looks like. I've got a definition here. So it's business mentoring is a relationship between you and an entrepreneur and someone with business experience who's willing to act as a guide. The business mentor offers advice, guidance, and support to help you run and improve your business. I think that's an accurate depiction. One of the questions I get is, how do I find a mentor for my business? You just start looking through your personal network. We are looking for someone that is doing or is where you want to go. So they're doing what you want to do. They're going where you want to go. I tell you, I really lucked into this. It's not something me being overly intelligent knew what I was doing, but life experience, and I've gotten to take it with me. I was in college. I was a freshman. What I did was I went to a friend of mine who was 3 years older, very good student. He was studying what I wanted to study. He was majoring in business. I wanted to major in business. Very astute. I went to his dorm, sit down with, I asked him for help. He invited me over, went to his dorm, sat down with him and asked him, what do I need to know? What do I need to look out for? And he actually offered and sat with me and helped me fill out my schedule by semester. That's not overly difficult. You just gotta, if you've been to college, you know you gotta make sure everything matches up, all the time slots, etc. But there were a couple of obstacles. He said the first thing we need to do is look at your practicum that's going to happen. You've got one your junior year, you got one your senior year, and those are only offered in one class at one time, and you need to schedule everything else around it. So let's get those on the schedule first, and then let's make everything else fit around it. So you need X number of hours of what we call prereqs, right? Your basic English and math and all that stuff. Take those freshman, sophomore years, get those out of the way. And you need to start putting in some of those business classes so you're not loaded all at once. We just kind of build it around that. You know, there's a few things that really didn't fit the norm. I took an upper level statistics class as a freshman, and normally they wouldn't allow that. When I met with my advisor, it's kind of funny. I go in the advisor's office and the advisor says to me, this is about midway through first semester. The advisor says, we need to look at your second semester schedule. Do you have any idea what you want to take? And the advisor, of course, he's got many students, probably hundreds. He grabs a catalog from the university and he opens it up and he starts looking. He goes, no, you're a business major. So he was an advisor from the School of Business. I said, oh yeah. I pulled out a folder and I handed him, it's half a sheet. Here's 16, 17, 18 hours I was taking that semester. I gave it to him and he goes, oh, you already have it filled out. So he started looking to make sure all the classes matched up, the time slots and everything. And he goes, well, this is great. I handed him 6 more, which was for the next 3 years. He goes, oh my gosh, I wish all my students would do this. That was the power of my mentorship. We checked all of them right there. I really didn't need to see my advisor anymore. But what that got me also, and this is a very important point, What that got me was he saw me as organized and astute and ahead. He recommended me for some other classes, some practicums that were not offered to everyone. It's students that were selected. So it's just a handful of students, about 20 of us, that were selected to do some other things that were special. Immediately, I got selected, and I think it was just from that first meeting. That works with your mentors that are in places you want to go. You get invited to do some stuff. I'm looking, whether it's a group I'm in, it could be a leads group, it could be a board that you're on, it could be an organization that you're in, it could be the Chamber of Commerce, it could be a BNI group, helping out a homeless coalition or organization where we're feeding the homeless, just people you're meeting there. As a young man, as a sales guy, I was the guy that showed up. I had something to sell all the time. I couldn't wait on everybody else stop talking so I could sell whatever I had. And I see those guys today. I don't laugh at them because I was that guy. And what I've learned today, just relax, have fun, do what you're doing anyway. I don't care about selling anything when I'm on the golf course. I don't care. In fact, it's quite the reverse. Sometimes I'll get asked, hey, what about this or what about that? And I'm like, yeah, we'll get to that later. Let's just play golf. The point is, you just make a friend genuinely. No hidden agenda. Maybe we're just friends. Maybe there's some business to be done. But a mentorship can work that same way. You just make a friend in those associations or those groups you're in. You just get to be a friend with somebody and you learn about them. It's not about you. It's not about me. Let's learn about them. The way my business works today, whether we're at the country club or somewhere else, it genuinely works like this. It's not, hey, I've got something to sell. It's make a friend. And what happens after a year and a half, somebody's got an issue with a roof and they go, I think that's what that guy Brad does. It's two women talking, two housewives talking. I think that's what he does. If you got an issue, call him. Oh, yeah, my husband knows him, plays golf with him. I'll call him. And the next thing you know, you're talking to one, you're talking to two. You've got 4 or 5 people that have called you and you're doing business. You can say within that group, now they're friends. You're just helping them out, doing business with them. People do business with people they like. And same for mentors. Your mentor is going to mentor you if they like you. They're going to pour into you. You can use a cold outreach to find a mentor. That seems a little bit awkward to me. To just cold call somebody, hey, this guy, he's at the pinnacle of his profession. Let's call him and see if he'd be my mentor. I don't think that's as fluid. That almost feels like, hey, I want to pay you to do this thing. And I don't see it that way. It feels more like a coach to me. I don't pay my mentors cash money every month. I do pay my coach. Two different things. Mentor, I'm looking for a clear communication where we've got a rapport, if you will. We're talking about the same things because we're in the same profession or where I'm going. You could explore the SBA or Small Business Center or something if you're just not sure where to go. And they may have actual mentors there that would guide you, and that's probably at no cost if someone's volunteering their time. What you're really looking for in a mentor, though, what's different, we got 3 C's. You got clarity. You want to be real clear on what you're doing and where they're at. Communication, very important, always. And then finally, commitment. Do they have the time? What if that's the person, but they just don't have time? That's probably not your mentor. What's a mentor cost? I even research because I don't pay for a mentor. Em was saying, it's anywhere between up to $800 a week, which I'm thinking, man, $3,200 a month or more. That sounds like a coach to me. And that's my own personal experience because I pay my coach. I have 2 mentors right now. By the way, mentors and coaches change. and they've changed for me. I've got two mentors right now. These guys are older than me, a few to several years. They're more knowledgeable than me. They've got a bigger sphere of influence than me. Every single time I see these guys, I appreciate them so much. Neither one of them live in my hometown, but when I see them, I find the absolute nicest steakhouse I can find, and they happen to be best friends. We're in the same business, kind of two different sectors, if you will, but a lot of knowledge. Find the best steakhouse I can. I don't care what it costs. I take them to a steak dinner every time I can. I appreciate them. I honor them, totally respect them, and they would help me do anything. I also make sure to call them at least once a week to touch base. How you doing? How's the family? How's your wife? I know it was your youngest daughter's birthday. And then we talk about, hey, what's going on? They'll ask me, what's going on? You know, what are you running into? What are you seeing? What can I help you with? They've been there. Aside from that call, anytime during the week, I've got something going on, I call them. I've got a question. I got a question about the building code. I've got a question. Hey, I'm running into this. I screwed something up. I ran into this with a building codes official. They're like, hey, gotcha. Let me make a couple phone calls and get it worked out. Those are my mentors. While I'll honor them and I may give them a gift here and there, their group or sphere of influence, when we have quarterly meetings. When we get together, I'll take the whole group out. And hey, that dinner's $1,000 up. I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it or I feel obligated to do it. Those guys are awesome. They're just awesome mentors, do anything for me. Those are the types of relationships when I think about mentor. Talk about business coach for a minute. Coaching is interesting in that I had a friend, respect, smart guy, knowledgeable guy. He was really mentoring me in my sales process. At one point, I had an acquaintance that found out this guy was my coach, and he said, Brad, man, with your volume of business and your income, why is that guy your coach? And I said, you don't understand coaching. This guy pulls stuff out of me that I can't get out of myself. And that's why he's my coach. I had that coach. There's a situation where I'm paying somebody. I'll pay him every week I see him. What's that cost depends on the coach and what they're doing for you. But I met with that coach on a regular basis for about a year. I wanted to go into another area. I needed some help with some of the online marketing stuff. That was not the sales guy. That's not a strong suit. I got a different coach. Let's go find the guy that is successful at doing this, but I don't really have a relationship with this guy. This guy's for hire. He's got a system. That's the difference between a mentor and a coach. The coach had a system, measurable, definable goals. Here's what I want to accomplish. Okay, here's where we're going. We're going to measure this. Brad, you're going to do A, B, and C. He's holding me accountable, and we're going to get here. That's where you want to go, and that's what you're paying me for. That guy was $10,000 up front. Everything's working out just as I planned. Let's do A, B, C. Then we're going to take you to D, E. You're going to do all these things. I don't know that guy. I've never met him in person. The other coach I met with weekly. This is a phone call that I have weekly, and then we've got a lot of written stuff back and forth. And that's how the coaching and mentorship is different for me. Is a mentor an indefinite thing where coach is a set period of time? I'm going to say a coach, not on a timeline. It's someone that helps me achieve something very specific. I need to get stronger in this area. We've got goals and stuff we're doing every week. Stuff I'm working on for my coach. I do have a definite end goal I'm getting to, however long that takes. That may be a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 6 months, whatever that looks like, what I'm trying to accomplish, and I'm paying for that. I'm paying for the success. I'm not going to hire a coach to just be a better person. I'm a business guy. Let's make it definable, measurable, etc. Let's get to where we're going. The mentorship, I think those people, they're friends forever. But I have had different mentors that have come along in my life. I say at the right time. Just talk about a couple other mentors I've had. I was a younger man. I had a mentor. He was 81. I was in my early 30s. Guy extremely successful, regional advertiser for Coca-Cola in several big markets, Atlanta, New York, etc. He always laughed at me because I had a cell phone. He would say, "Oh, who in the world would have that thing? It's like a ball and chain. You know, you're chained to that thing. Every time it rings, you answer it." I said, "Yeah, but if I was where you are, I mean, if I had what you have, I wouldn't have a phone either." What made this gentleman a great mentor was he was in business where I wanted to go, even though he was in a different business. So he was in the advertising business. I always saw marketing and advertising as something I needed to do no matter what business I was in. As I would have ideas and things I needed to work through, I'd kind of bounce them off of him. I would call Bob and say, "Hey, I got something I need to run by you." And always the same thing. "Bring me a number 9 from McDonald's," which at the time was a fish sandwich. Stop and get one of those meals. He would always make time for me. Very impressive. As busy as this guy was, I could go to his office. We would sit in the conference room for 30, 60 minutes and just kind of talk through some stuff. But I appreciated him. I invited him on a golf trip. Bunch of guys, a lot of guys, we got together in an airplane and flew from Indiana to Florida for about 5 days and played some different golf courses, nice accommodations. And as my thank you, kind of a treat to my friend for taking his time, that was kind of an appreciation thing. That wasn't preconceived or pre-planned to be my mentor, but because I appreciated him, that's what that looked like. Never actually paid the guy. I get asked the question, why do I need a mentor? Why do business people need mentors at all? What value are they? Well, they provide invaluable advice, support. They help you with common mistakes. They introduce you to key people or organizations. As you get to be friends with your mentors, they're probably tied in to organizations or situations or with people that are invaluable within the business. They probably have mentors. And it's just like next level stuff. Again, that's not my agenda when I'm talking to people. It's not to get to the next level. It's just make a friend. But these things will naturally happen as you do the right thing and you give back to your mentors and you're genuine. Try and add value to as a mentee. And maybe it's a steak dinner or maybe it's something else. Maybe you've got either a sphere of influence within your business or personally that maybe you can help your mentor in some way, give back, and let those situations be natural and kind of flow. But why do you need a mentor? Well, it's about getting the proper advice. It's, again, back to the beginning, I said, it's finding someone that is where you want to be. How'd they get there? How'd they do that? I think when we're in a successful mentorship or as a mentee, there's two things that have to be present and are always present. We've got to have trust and respect. That's got to go both ways. Trust and respect, very important. Your integrity means everything. Otherwise, these people in positions of accomplishment, they're not going to want to deal with us, right? If we're not trusted and respected. A mentor can change your life. It depends on the situation and what they can do for you, the way they can help you. And again, not going in as, what can you do for me? But that's what mentorship's about. I'm not nearly as accomplished as my mentor, and this is where I want to go. That could be life-changing. So several years ago, I owned a finance company. I had a company that was rolling stock and yellow iron. That's what I was financing, and went along, and life was absolutely wonderful. I had another business, and I had the finance company, and I was just working them both, and everything was just right on track. Life was just wonderful. I was able to save money. I was able to build a new home. I was able to build a new lake house. I was able to buy a condo. And saving money the whole time. One day I get up. I'm going to go from the lake house back to my hometown where my business was, about 2 hours away. At the time, told my wife, hey, I will be back around lunchtime. We had guests there at the lake house, and I've got to run to the office. It was Friday morning. I walk in my office very early in the morning. I walk in my office. It's about 7:30 a.m. And my girl right there at the front desk, she kind of ran everything, my personal assistant. She knew everything going on. I said, how's everything? She said, everything's good. Had 23 sales guys. She said, your check from our funder, where I sell paper as a finance company, and I get paid commission, it's $142,000 short. I said, oh man, that's not good. Transfer some money from my personal account. Let me go back to my office, get on the phone. Let's find out what's going on. To kind of shorten the story a little bit and speed my way through, gas prices were going up significantly at the time. I had guys that I had financed, semis, tractor trailers. They were returning their trucks, and they weren't making their payments. Called GE Capital, and they said, yeah, you signed recourse 3 years ago when you signed up with us. Recourse means you're responsible. Even though we financed it for someone else and sold the paper, I was still liable. So I started calling around, and bottom line is I've got, I'm 90 days back on, ended up with 18 semis. I wasn't real sure what to do. I called my father, and, we're talking about several $100,000. We kind of went through a process, attorneys, my accounting firm. We're going through everything. What do we do here? I called a gentleman in my church. He was a guy that I was on the board with at my church. I knew him as a good business guy. He had retired well. He lived on a big farm. I called this guy up, and I said, hey, Jack, this is Brad. And I said, I don't know if you can help me, but I need somebody to talk to. And he said, what's going on? I explained the situation. This was ironic. Jack said to me, here he is retired. He says, well, Brad, do you know what I did? And I said, well, I don't know. You live on a farm. You're a farmer? And he said, no, I made all my money in the trucking business. And he was so excited. He said, where are you at right now? I said, I'm at my office. Well, he jumped in his Cadillac and came over to the office, sat down with me, and just ran through. He was so excited to be able to help me. And he just went through everything. Let's get out your insurance policies. Let's see how you're insured. This is going to happen next. Who's doing the maintenance on your trucks? We're going to do the maintenance at my barn. I'm going to call my mechanic, and, just bang, 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 bang. Just one thing. Here's what you do. Here's what you're looking for. He just held my hand and walked me right through it. That's a mentor. There was no timeline. And man, I appreciated that guy so much. I was able to do something very nice for him. It's the hardest I've ever worked. Took 12 months. Got everything paid off, paid back. We set up a plan, and, just a great success story. But had someone not held my hand, that situation, my life could have turned out very differently in that moment. Through the grace of God and through a good mentor, that's how that thing happened. That is the value of a mentor. You don't know where they're going to come from. You don't know when you're going to need them. You don't know where it's going to lead you, but mentors are invaluable. I encourage you to get one. And I'm going to leave you with one final thought. We've talked about mentors and who's mentoring you. Maybe you're in a little different position. And let me ask this. Who are you mentoring? There's somebody out there that needs to hear your story, and there's somebody that needs your help. Think about that. I'll see you guys in the next one.